Hi, everybody, and welcome to a webinar on how to use boom cards in kindergarten and first grade. First of all, this webinar is going to be about how to use boom cards specifically in kindergarten and first grade. Boom works for everybody up to high school, but this one is really about kindergarten. So there are a lot of questions about what platforms make the most sense for kindergarten or for young kids, and I'm hoping that I might be able to answer some of those questions today. When I first started using Boom, I honestly didn't think that I was techie enough to make digital learning in my class. I didn't think that I had the skills, but I'll tell you that Boom is one of the easiest platforms to get started with. And so if you're new to digital, this might be the exact place that you should start. My goal for you today is to provide you with the digital resources and the information about how to use those digital resources with that support that we so desperately need. So many of us were thrust right into remote learning with no training whatsoever, so that support is critical. And that is my goal for you today, is to give you as much support as I can. So by the end of the time together, you're going to know exactly what a boom card is. You're going to know how to set up a class and assign lessons. You're going to be able to change those usernames and passwords, how to use the reports feature, and most importantly, how to share this with your family and children. So basically, a boom card is a digital task card. Now, you know you've used task cards in your class. You have the cards with the clothespins, and you put them at a center, and the kids see it's a fish, it's got an eye vowel, they put the clip on the eye, or the cat starts with a C, you put the clip on the cat, the clip on the C. We're used to that, and this is just basically it's digitized those task cards. So let me show you what I mean. This is an example of a boom card. Now, in this, you can see that if the student gets it correct, the card goes right away. It advances. If they get it incorrect, the card stops and makes sure they get it correct. So it's self-checking. In this, I know you can't hear it, but it gives a little ding, and the kids really like that. There's something about that ding that the kids really, really like. So this is another example of how boom cards can be so impactful for especially kindergarten, because there's lots of different features. So just watch this for a minute.
Us. Do you want to play with us? Find all the words that say us.
So with Boom, there's that sound feature. So you know, if you're trying to teach sight words or anything, if you have kids with special needs, if you have students in your class that do not speak, for whom English is not their first language, that sound feature is critical. So the kids can click to get the correct answer. They can also type.
Us. Do you want to play with us? Type the word us.
And there's also the drag and drop feature. So here's an example of that.
Us. Do you want to play with us? Build the word us.
So for students who are working at home, this gives us a little bit more to make sure that they're truly engaged. You know, little ones need to have something a little bit more to keep them on task, and boom cards really provide that. Now, this is an example of how you can use the boom cards with math specifically. So let's look at how they build a set. They can pull those balls over to the plate to make a set of 5 and complete the task. But what I love about Boom is that if they make a mistake, it's almost like they scaffold them to getting it correctly. So in this example, there's too many balls brought over. The answer is incorrect. So it starts with the balls, and they know they have to change that back. And then again, it says, nope, you got to get the next one correct too. So it really gives them that extra scaffolding that they need when they're working specifically at home at this time, when we're not there to watch them. Another feature that is just so powerful for our little ones is the video feature. So look at this. I'm going to turn up the sound. Look at how the video gives them direct instruction while they're at home.
Little. Down.
So I'm going to turn that volume down. So it gives the students the direct instruction, and then once the video is done, then they can move right on into the task. So in this example, they watch a video of sight words, and then they click on, and then there are more cards.
The word that. Find the word that. Fill the word that.
So the students not only get that direct instruction, but with each passing card, they're getting to hear that word multiple times. So this works great at school, but even more so now that we're at home. We know they're getting that extra direct instruction so that they're building up their skills and they're not falling behind while we're away. So let's talk about how you get a class set up. So when you go to the Boom Learning site, the first thing you're going to see is this orange rectangle. That is a free membership for schools impacted by COVID-19. So you want to click there because if your school is impacted, you will be eligible. And let's face it, that's essentially all of us. So you're going to click on there. And then all you have to do is put in an email address. And once you put in your email address, you just click that you want to start an account. And then what's going to happen is Boom is going to then send you an email where you can just adjust your password and you will be all set to go. So now you have an account. And so, you know, if you have an account, you need to have students. So I'm going to just make this a little bit bigger for you so that you can see a little bit better how you do this next step. Okay, so right up here, you want to go to, once you get your email where you change your password, you're going to name your class. I named mine Mrs. Larsen. You're going to name yours whatever it is. And then you're going to come to this blue tab here where it says add many students. This is where you can put in a bunch of students all at once. So I started a classroom of my family. So basically you would just put in their names and make sure you put a comma between each name, and you can list your whole class there. You know, if you have 22 kids or whatever, how many kids you have, you can put them all in. Now what you need to do is come up with a default password. Now, Boom has this awesome feature of a picture password. And when you're back at school and the kids are working in their centers, then this picture password is amazing. But now that everybody's home, the best way that I have found to make this work is to make one password for everybody in your class. And the reason why I say that is because you are going to get texts, you are going to get emails, parents are going to contact you and say, I can't remember Jaden's password. So if everybody's password is the same, you won't have to look anything up. You'll know immediately what Jason's password is.
And this is Mary. I'm just going to add real quick, sorry, Della, for the unfortunate freeze, that we at Boom Learning do not know your students' passwords. We can't reset them because of agreements with schools. You will have to be responsible for resetting and setting passwords.
So you can make it something simple like ABCD. You can make it a word like boom. You can make it numbers, whatever it is, but you need to make sure that it has 4 characters. So like ABCD or boom would work. Once you do that, then you're going to have your class here. And these are all the people in my family. So each child gets this little creature. And if you look here under Della's username, it's Della.49. Now, that is a horrible username for a kindergarten student. So what I do is I go in, excuse me, and I just click on that username and I delete it. And I make everybody in my class have a similar username. So like, for example, Della Boom. And then I would make it Catherine Boom and Matthew Boom. You might want to make it, you know, Della Room 108 or Della, you know, Hanson School, whatever it is. You want to make them uniform because, again, Jaden's mother is going to call you. Sorry to pick on Jaden, but Jaden's mother is going to call you and say, I forgot his password. I forgot his username. So if you make it something simple like Della Boom or whatever, then you can literally tell parents it's their first name and then this at the ending and their password is this. And it makes it so much easier for you, for the parents, because right now this isn't about making it easier for you in the classroom. This is right now making it easier for our parents. So that is a great way to get started with having their username and having their password all set. It's all uniform. So now you have a classroom, you have usernames, you have passwords. Now you need some decks. So we're going to go shopping. So you come right up here to the top where there's a shopping cart and we're going to shop. Now, listen, we are all struggling, right? I mean, if you're a teacher, hopefully you're getting paid. My district is paying us because we're expected to teach, and most teachers seem to be paid. However, we all have family members who may be out of work, who may have lost their job. And so we got to make this easy on ourselves. We can't take on more financial responsibility. If your district is willing to pay for it, awesome, fantastic. But if you are trying to do this on a budget, you can. What you want to do is you want to go to the shopping cart. Sorry, let me just fix this a little bit. You want to go to your shopping cart, and then what you're going to do is you're going to see all these decks, and you can adjust it by grade level. You can adjust it by subject area, but the most important thing is you can come up here and you can adjust it price low to high. There are literally hundreds of boom decks that are 0 points, and you can find those decks very easily with just a quick couple little clicks. So go in, Boom, on the Boom site, things aren't priced like $1. They are priced by points. It has to do with regulations and laws about buying things online. I don't know the details of it, but you can either buy points and then use those points to buy things, or you can just, literally you can do this for free. Boom is giving you a free membership. There are plenty of free decks. You can do this for free. So
I will throw this in there. You can also, on Fridays, several of our sellers are making decks that normally money available either at a heavy discount or for free. Someone asked me in the Q&A for the code. I'll type it back as an answer so you can find those two codes. One can just send me what are those codes in the Q&A. I will post the answer for everyone.
Once you see a deck that might interest you, you look at this deck and you say, yeah, my kids are working on addition and subtractions. You can click this blue button here, which will give you a full-size preview, and you can see what it looks like for your kids. Once you decide that this is what you want, you're going to come up here and say, add to my library. And then if you look at the top bar up here, here's where your class is, where you entered your kids. And then this is your library. And that deck, once you say add to my library, it's going to immediately be in your library. So now you have it in your library. So let's see what it looks like once you go to your library. Here I have put 2 decks in here. These are 2 free decks, and this is what's in my library for this class right now. And so there are 2. These just happen to be math right now. This is an addition and subtraction, and this is accounting one. So now we have to get it to our students. So when you look here, you're going to see this blue action button on the side. Click that blue action button, and then you're going to get this drop down. We're going to focus on assign. It's right there. You want to click assign, and then if you have multiple classes, like I have multiple classes, this is a test class that I have, but you just click the square, and now everybody who's in that class is going to have that deck immediately in their own personal classroom, okay? But here's the amazing thing. So let's say that everybody in your class is not on the same skill, because I have yet to meet a class that has everybody on the same skill. So you just assigned addition and subtraction to everybody, but you have somebody in your class that is going to struggle with that. So you want to give them something that's just counting. You can do that. You're going to come up here, you're going to go to your class, click on your class, and then I'm going to use Della as an example. You're going to go to Della, you're going to click the blue button next to her, and now you're going to go down to assign. So what we did there, let me just back up. You go to your class, you click on here, it's going to give you those kids again. Click on the blue down arrow, and now you're going to click on assign, but this time we're only assigning it to Della. So now here are the decks that are available, and you can click this deck, and then Della gets that deck. But nobody else in your class is going to get that deck, just her. So it's super easy to differentiate between who gets what material. So if you have your high kids, your Zoomers, you can give them something more difficult. Your kids who are struggling, you can give them something easier. I don't know about your district, but my district wants to know, how are we differentiating while they're at home? I mean, as if our job is not hard enough. Now they want us to differentiate at home, but whatever. So you're just going to click that button, and now Della gets it. Now, if you want to take this addition and subtraction out of Della's assignments, you just click that red box there, and it will be gone. So now when, let's say, Jaden opens up his deck, he's going to have this one, and Della will have that one. And it's really easy to just give it to them like that. So I'm going to show you now. I'm going to sign out. I'm going to sign out here, and I'm going to sign in as if I'm a student. So I'm going to sign in as Della. So they're going to come here. They can either sign in here as I'm a student, and then they sign in with Boom, or they can come to the home page here. Let me back that up. Sorry. They can come to the home page here, and where it says student sign in, they click student sign in. They're going to sign in with Boom. For kids who are older, they can sign in through Google Classroom. You can assign these through Google, but I'm trying to give you the beginner novice one here. Let's just start with one at a time, and this is how we'll just do Boom through the Boom website. So this is where you put in that username. Again, it was Della Boom. You click next, you put in that password, ABCD, sign in, and then here's all Della's decks. So you can see I have both of them in there. If I had unclicked that addition and subtraction, it wouldn't be in there. So now when she signs in, this is what she's going to see. And all she has to do is click it, and it will bring her immediately to that deck. So just right away, that's how easy it is for the kids. Kids can be so independent with Boom. That's what's so nice about it. They're super independent. So now they can play this game. If they want to quit, they quit. They try another game. And I'm going to deliberately make some mistakes here to show you how that's going to show up for you. So let's log out here. If you look here on Della's page, she's gonna, once she starts a deck, she's going to see these circles, and you're gonna see those circles again on your page in a minute. So I'm gonna log out of Della, and I'm going to log back in as the teacher. So I'm back in here as my teacher. And now I really want to know how Della is doing while she's at home. So I come back to her. I click that blue drop-down button again. And this time what I'm going to do is go to the reports feature. So I click reports, and now this is what I see. I can see what she's recently played, and more importantly, I see this. So I know when I see this green circle that she has started that deck. And you can see there's only a slight piece here that is filled in with dark green. Here is a little bit more dark green. That shows me that she only did 1 here, 2 here. And let me see if I can scroll in here. The mastery is over here. This, what you basically want is to see this green circle filled dark green, and that way you know that she's finished it. If this blue circle is filled in blue, that's excellent because that's the mastery. So here, 1 little blue sliver is in. She's got 1 out of 39 correct. On this one, 0 out of 11 correct. So you can kind of check her progress from home. So you'll know what she's doing. But let's take a deeper dive. So let me go back there a little bit and show you what I just did. When you're in the reports feature, if you click that deck, it's going to bring you to more info. So I just did this. You saw me just do this. You saw me make a mistake. So I only did 1 card, and here's the mistake I made. It's got 0% accuracy, but I can click on that card and it opens up and it shows me the card she's made a mistake on. So I can see what mistakes are being made, and that just gives me so much more information about how she's doing. So that's an amazing feature from Boom. So let me show you something else here. I'm gonna make it smaller again here for a second. What you can also do is you can look at the reports. When you go into your classroom, you're going to have all your people. Now this is actually my class, so there's more than just the 5. But again, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. You can see this person here was on 2 days ago. This person here was 10 days ago. This person was on 19 minutes ago. So I know who's working and who's not, okay? So I can see over here, this person has not logged in. Neither has this person or this person. So I know these are the phone calls I have to make today. I need to call up those parents and find out why they're struggling to get their kids on. And the others, I can be like, okay, they're doing fine. They're doing their work. Good job. So that's a way that you can monitor like how often they're going on, when they're going on, if they've gone on. Critical information while we're at home. And this is something that you're not going to get on PBS Kids. You're not going to get this on Scholastic. You're not going to get this on ABC. This is only available on Boom. So I want to show you kind of a deeper dive into the reports. So this is an actual report from somebody in my class. So you can see the accuracy level is 78. This particular deck is for a Finding Shadows deck. So when I look at this, I can see where she's made mistakes because I can literally go to one of the red squares and I click it, and it will bring up the card that she made a mistake in. So here's the mistake that she made. Now that seems to me like it was a pretty careless error, and maybe she needs to focus a little bit more. But at 78% accuracy while she's at home making these kind of mistakes, I'm not too fired up about that. But it's a great way that I can monitor what she's doing. Now here's another deck. Wow, there's a lot of red on this deck. And so this one is counting to 10 with fingers. And I mean, you can see there is 22% accuracy. The fact that there are 3 lines here means that she's done this deck 3 times. And whew, I need to take this deck out because this is much too hard and I need to remove this deck from her classroom. So I'm going to go in and that check mark and get it out because we do not work happening. But on the flip side, we all have those Zoomers, right? Those kids who are doing really well. So this is an example of one of my Zoomers, and you can see he's got 100% accuracy, but more important, if you look down here, he is spending like no time on these slides. So not only is he getting them all correct, he is just whipping through them. I need to remove that deck because that is much too easy. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to take that deck out. This is about alphabet. I'm going to move on to some beginning sounds, some phoneme identification, because this is like, no, we're not doing this at home. This is, you know what I mean? So that is why the reports are so important, because even though we're not there, we can still access what they're doing. So now some of our parents, me included, probably you and every parent that I've spoken to, is completely overwhelmed. They are getting, number one, they might have lost their job and now they're totally stressed out. Or number two, they're working from home and they're, I don't know about you, but working from home seems like it's 10 times harder than working in school. It's like making a subfolder every single day. If you have to work from home and you have young children at home and you're trying to homeschool, like, enough. You know, we got to just pump the brakes a second and give these parents a minute to breathe. So one of the ways that you can continue to give work, but in spoonfuls, is the fast pin. And I'm going to show you how you can do the fast pin right here. You're going to go up to your library again. And these are the decks in my library. Okay, so I have 1 million decks because I make 1 million decks. But depending on how many decks you have, that's what's going to show up here. And I'm going to choose a deck. I'm going to pick this one right here, Spring Flowers. Okay. Again, you go to that blue button with the arrow. On Boom, that's kind of universal across their platform. There's those blue buttons with a drop-down arrow. So if you ever get stuck, click that and it might open it up and give you the answers that you want. But I'm going to click that button on the, and again, this is in my library. I'm going to pick a deck, click the action button, and this time I'm going to pick Fast Pin. Okay, so I'm going to come down here. I'm going to click the button and go to Fast Pin. And then this is going to come up. Let me back that up for a second. It's going to say generate a new fast pin. Yes, generate a new fast pin. Click that. And you're going to get this screen. Now, in the classroom, you can use these, the QIBH. I often will do that in the classroom. What I'll end up doing is I'll put that on my whiteboard. I'll write it at a center. I'll say, go to Boom Cards, use this fast pin. But we're not in school. We are at home. So we're trying to make it easy for the parents. So this time I'm going to use this code down below, that UTM code. Just copy that. And then you're going to paste, you're going to copy that code. And then if you just go to a new screen and you paste, look what happens. Boom, there it is, right? Like it just immediately shows up there. So if you give that code to your parents, then they click that code and they are right there. So again, go to your library, see all your decks, click the action button, click fast pin, copy that code at the bottom, and then you give that code to your parents, and then they'll be able to go in. Now, here's just something for you to be aware of. If you are using the fast pin, you will not get the reports feature, because that fast pin is the same for everybody. And so everybody in your class is going to be working off that same one, and there is no individualized reports. So if you want the reports, you've got to put the deck in their class, and then they use that deck, and Della's working on that. But when you give out this code, everybody in your class is using the same code, and so there's no differentiation between Della and Michael. They're all doing the same thing, and you won't get the reports feature. But the benefit is that your parents are getting spoonfuls, just spoonfuls of work, and it makes it a little bit more manageable for them. Now, the way I like to hand out this code is through through Class Dojo. If you don't have Class Dojo, you can just text them that code and it will work. But if you have Dojo, this is a really great way to get that code to them. So this is just my demo class. This is not really my class. I don't really have Johnny Depp in my class. But all you're going to do is you're going to go to Class Story, and then in there you're going to type, please complete the deck on shapes, okay? And then what you just copied, you're going to paste it. And now it's right there. Now you want to get a little fancier. I like to go back to that deck and take a screenshot of it. I just take a quick little screenshot. I go back to Dojo and I say photos, and I drop the photo in. I just think, it looks a little nicer. It looks like a nicer lesson, but that can be added in. And so here's what you're handing out on Dojo. Your parents are going to get that on their phone or on their computer, and they're going to be able to access it right away. Now, here's just a little tip. If your parents are accessing it from their phone, the kids can play right on their phone. So tell your parents to download the Boom Cards app. It's free in the App Store. And then when they click that on their phone, the kids can literally play right on their phone. I mean, they may or may not want them on their phone, but let me tell you, if they're like on a long car ride or sitting in a waiting room and you hand them their phone, it might be a lifesaver for them. But that's how you can get that code out to the parents easily. So I hope that helped. I know that we're all struggling a little bit with this new normal. It's not easy. It's stressful. I haven't spoken to a person yet who isn't like overwhelmed and stressed. So if you need help, contact me at DellaLarsensClass@gmail.com. I am getting a lot of emails every day asking for questions, and I will get to you. I'm trying to respond in the same day that I get them. If they come late at night, I'll do it in the morning, but I'm trying my very best to answer all your questions. And you can follow me on Instagram at Della Larsens Class. I'm putting videos up there on the IGTV to help you with Boom, to help you with Google Classroom. So as I get questions, I'm answering them on video, because if you have that question, 10 other people have that question. So I hope this was helpful. I hope that you can feel some joy and happiness teaching remotely. Where it looks like from all the reports, we're in this for the long haul. So let's make it painless. If you're interested in the decks that you saw, I will attach those decks, a link to those decks somehow, either in the comments or however you're seeing this, so that you'll be able to access those. If you go to Della Larsens Class on TPT, I have literally hundreds and hundreds of Boom decks. Or like I said, if you are on a budget and you want to do this for free, go over to Boom, search priced low to high, and see what comes up. And if you have questions, ask. This is not impossible. We can do it. There's a woman, Marie Furillo, and she says everything is figure-outable, and we are going to figure this out. So let's stay in it together. Hashtag stronger together. And I hope this was helpful.
So lots of people want to know where to find your decks. So if you could do a quick tour of your store.
Okay.
So let's go to the store and give a brief tour of the store for primary. So if you could show what you were doing, that would be awesome.
So this is the store. You find it right up here. And Mary had said earlier, you can see here on this one, the Flash Friday freebie. If you search that on Fridays, a lot of us are putting our decks up for free. We're switching them out every week so that you can get it. But this is my store. And when you come to the store, I have lots of decks. So the deck that you saw with the video, this is this one, Superhero Sight Words. I'm trying to think. This one is free, the addition and subtraction. That's one of the ones I showed in there. That is free. The other one, if you type in monster subtraction, here's that one that I showed at the beginning. I'm trying to think what other one I might have had. If you do kindergarten, I've tried to put them into folders. So if on the side over here, you can see topics, like this is all alphabet ones. And if there's sound, it says sound. And if there is a video, it will say video. And I have lots of, obviously I haven't put my bundles in. I have CVC words here, Earth Day, different decks. But everybody's store, I don't want to just, you know, showcase my store. Everybody has great decks, great resources. And like I said, one of the best ways to do it is to search. Let me see if I go, Mary, yeah, if.
Oh, just go ahead and go back to store.
Okay.
Let's do store and then click your index. Awesome. Go ahead and click pre-K. We had some people who were curious about what's available for pre-K. And why don't we do pre-K mathematics? If you could filter on subject. And then if you could take the sort that's currently newest first, if you could go price low to high. So that's one way you can filter. You're just desperate for something to get your pre-K students out there going at a low cost.
Lots and lots of free. I mean, these are all free. And I mean, right now, I just think that a lot of people are trying to scramble. And so we're not trying to kill you here. We want you to be able to get it. Look at all these free decks. And, you know, then they start to add up. But if you have preschoolers, I think Boom is probably the best thing for preschoolers because it's just too hard to get on Google Classroom. If you are interested in trying to make a deck, this is something you can do, which is really cool for kindergarten. So if you have a picture of your student, you can bring him in and then you can make it specific for him. So this is one of my students who is trying to like find the letters of his name. So you can actually play around with while you're home and maybe you have a minute, you can really do some amazing things individualized for your students so they can actually start to write their name. And this is, I mean, this is fantastic for the kids who are working on that. So I just wanted to show that. I know that not everybody is really in the place to be learning something right now, but if you find yourself with a little bit of time, Boom is amazing, not only if you wanted to buy something that was already there, but if you are interested at all in learning, it's amazing. It's amazing. And you might just get addicted to doing it.
Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you, Della.
Bye,
and
guys.
Enjoy your days.